We were prepped and ready for the heist. We had stolen Tier 7 passkeys, acquired the building schematics, and rerouted the security comms.
We're in position.
The package was as good as ours.
Heads up. Target down.
Every variable accounted for, but we fucked it up anyway. Next time, we gotta be even more prepared.
Den of Wolves is a first-person shooter, four-player co-op heist game taking place in the future. We focus a lot on player agency, story, and keeping the player on their toes with some interesting elements that take you out of the brick-and-mortar world of Midway City, where the game takes place. It's a power fantasy, even though there's obviously tension as well with like stealth segments and stuff. But the identity of Den of Wolves primarily is balls to the wall.
Den of Wolves is stepping back into our payday roots. The big difference is, of course, the sci-fi area, where we can play around a lot with design. The freedom we have with this sci-fi space is a bit terrifying, actually, because you can go nuts, basically. We've actually told ourselves to not try to over-design stuff, but not limit us creativity. So designing the Midway City from the start, we knew we wanted big megastructure buildings to actually place our levels within and be free of how big levels we want them to be. It's this very large city arising from the sea. You want to look out at the city and see, like, okay, so this is a living, breathing city and it works.
Coming back to the heist genre is sort of I don't know. After Payday 2, I felt like I had so much more things to do in my head, like what I wanted that game to be. A contemporary setting limits you in so many ways. Everything you do to enhance the game breaks the theme. With a sort of a sci-fi theme on it, it enables you to stay in the pocket of thematics and still solve things from a gameplay angle. When making a game concept or a world, you have to think about what tools it gives you to solve problems in the future. And the sci-fi thriller theme gives us a lot of tools to play with. Midway is just a corporate haven. There's no rules, there's nothing. It's divided up into districts. There's even like district wars and this kind of thing within the city. So it's a very classical, in a way, dystopian take. Kind of like a classic role-playing game of saying like, oh, this is the backdrop, and I'm gonna hand you a new adventure and have a bit of fun. So there's something called dives in the game. It's basically a neural heist. In the middle of whatever you're doing in the normal mission, you can basically jump to this other place. Thematically, there's these architects that build these defense mechanisms that gets injected into people's minds, and then you're trying to break into one of those.
The dives allows us to explore a little bit with visual art design and gameplay design. Just tracking down this specific person that you need to make a dive into to extract information. We don't need a bank vault for that. It could be a suburban, gritty area, or it can be a very high-end luxury apartment or of some sort.
The dives provide change of pace and change of intensity in the gameplay and change of scenery, and it could be a nightmarish sort of abstract thing.
Imagine trying to navigate a forest or something like this.
But it could also be a Japanese temple or a fortress in the Swiss Alps.
We could just mix a lot of different stuff together because it's this very abstract place. And also with gameplay, we could go from a shooter to a platformer to a horror theme.
Or we can have sort of parkour experimentation where you can run on walls. We make the rules for what the dives are and what they can be.
The heist fantasy in general maps really well to game psychology. I'm a psychology-driven game designer to a large extent because we want to motivate you to keep playing and also like what are we stealing and what's the economy of the game. And I'm not talking about getting people to spend more cash. It's what's the drive of the game. And I think building new things or crafting things is a very interesting area. A good example would be like this thing we did for Payday where you would craft masks and this kind of thing.
Yeah, we're going back to the masks. I've heard people tell me before like, oh, GTFO and Den of Wolves, it's a masks game, right? I'm like, really? Yeah, maybe it is. But we wanted to make something different. Like we didn't want to go fully masculine, maybe doing, you know, these big skull masks. Like we don't want to limit us to not do it, but with the mask we have now, we actually wanted to bring some feminine, some sexiness, you know. So one of the inspirations we actually had was the Keira Knightley pout that she has. And there's also like these Japanese theater demon masks with Hannibal Lecter type of style. So as in the dives, you know, we could basically make anything. The masks are this expression to allow them to expand the world inside of themselves. So finding designs where they don't really know where to put it, in what categories, we try to hit kind of a sweet spot there. This is going to be a high-paced, intense, and a very fun, collaborative game. Playing together with friends is a beautiful thing, right? Especially when we have these situations where shit hits the fan, we panic together and try to solve it.
So if you put 4 people in a room and they play it, and you start to hear the voices go up, and they start to be loud in the room, then you know, like, yeah, it's something, you know?
If you want to find out more about Den of Wolves, head to our Steam page and make sure to wishlist now.